Our next caller is Alyssa Joseph Anders from Virginia. What's your question, Alyssa?
Parents are such an important component to a child's success. Any recommendations on how we can engage families in a really meaningful way that's proven to get results?
Well, that's a wonderful question, and we really care about families, and I think Head Start is our best model there. Luis?
Well, thank you. I think a part of our philosophy should be the philosophy of all of us in this field is to really think about it is about children and families. We cannot say it's about children, it's about families, but it really is a comprehensive view of working together. There are many strategies. We're always looking for the best way of involving parents, but I think it has to be a deep commitment from everybody in your team to really make this work. Families really make the complete difference in terms of quality.
I know, Diane, you've looked at family engagement as well.
Well, family involvement is a very important component of our curriculum, and I think we have to redefine what we mean by partnerships with families. The expectation that they come to workshops so that they volunteer in the classroom is not always realistic. What's important is the quality of that relationship, that teachers need to have positive, respectful relationships with every child's family. And I remember a teacher once saying to me, it's very hard for a parent not to like a teacher who really likes her child. And I think that's what's critical, that more teachers understand about each child and can talk with a parent about what's unique, what's special about your child, then you will have that parent on your side. And I think we also have an obligation to provide resources for parents that they can use at home.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Libby, can I add to that
Absolutely.
too? Because I think in the Chicago model and what Maria Whalen was saying is really important. And I think too often we don't ask parents and we don't start the conversation with asking them what they want to see, what their expectations are. It's sort of a preconceived notion of what parent engagement and parent involvement is, and I think we need to start with asking them and go from there as opposed to designing strategies that we think are going to work for them.
So that was a great question.
Just
Lee?
to add a little bit, I think we
Absolutely.
need to be wary of approaching parents with a sort of deficit model in our minds. We have to look at parents'
That we have to
strengths.
educate them.
Right, yeah.
I would add one thing, and that is that parent engagement, parent involvement isn't just about pick up and drop off. It's about that relationship. And good quality early childhood programs have always placed a high value on the parents as partners in the delivery of the building of the relationship and the delivery of the service. So I think that this is a real asset of involving community-based providers in pre-K delivery.
That's fantastic. You can see we care about parents.
Our next question is from Wendy Rodriguez from Pennsylvania. Wendy, what's your question for the panel?
We are interested in knowing how pre-K teachers can be kept interested and motivated in teaching pre-K and not moving into public school because of salary deficiencies or benefits.
Well, that's a wonderful question, certainly something everybody's grappling with. I'm going to actually throw it to Eric because I know it's something you grapple with.
Well, it is a challenge. The increasing expectations on the workforce in early childhood mean that often we are building a broader labor pool that we will be competing with other institutions like public schools over that labor pool. And that has interesting dynamics to it. It's really important, especially in tough budget times, that we are aware that staff expenses are the larger portion of the costs of delivering a program, and that resources are devoted to support that, especially in community-based programs where typically that has not been the standard. It's also important to recognize that not everyone is cut out to be a college degree teacher, and there are many very highly effective and qualified folks who do not have that BA, and we've got to figure out how we embrace those folks in a laddered way in developing and delivering services to young children.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's really important that at the state level, we think about, as one of our film clips showed, what is our vision that we want for children? And how can we create state policy that really supports people to teach in a mixed delivery system and be compensated for that? We're seeing success in that in many states, in North Carolina, in New Jersey, and I think that's ultimately where we want to go. We want to think about what are the core competencies of what we want teachers to know and to be able to do. And whatever setting they work in, we want to fairly compensate them for doing that important work.
You have one last word, Linda, because I know you're on the forefront of this.
Well, I think it's a very important issue, and I think what we need to do is look at a mixture of training and education for the workforce so that we develop career ladders and give people opportunities to move up in programs and keep them motivated to higher levels, as opposed to it being too black and white in terms of the requirements.
Multiple pathways.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, that was our last question. I have to say, you all were fantastic. And those of you out there asking us these questions did a wonderful job. And Ray, you did too. So it's back to you.
Well, thank you, panelists, and thank you for your calls. Together, you've given our viewers specific ideas for breaking down barriers and moving forward with their own pre-K advocacy.